And a very good morning to you. Welcome to a Wednesday. Do you believe it's a Wednesday already? The week is halfway done. 7 a.m. on October 1st, 2025. And yes, it is the 1st of October. Wow. Pam, our director, as excited as Christmas Eve children. Welcome to ONNJ Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. We'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. Beautiful sunny fall day today on this first day of October. Light breeze, maybe even more than that in some places. Highs around 70. Straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta with a first check of this fall-like Garden State forecast. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Ken. Yeah, fall welcomes you, greets you as you head out the door with a nice crisp feeling. The cool air is in place. Again, it's a little pause from that summer heat we've been enduring, like an extension of summer. And yesterday I promised you a wind chill, and there is one. It's small, but it still counts. Right now, 48 degrees up in Sussex, 62 in Long Branch. Splitting the difference right there in Newark is 55 degrees. With the wind chill, it actually feels like 46 degrees right now in Sussex. So not a lot of wind chill, but just enough to take off 2 degrees from that actual air temperature up in Sussex County. So the breezes today will be gusty, making it feel much cooler right now, and especially through the rest of the day into this afternoon, about 9 degrees cooler than we were yesterday, thanks to that dry air that's moved in from the north, making it feel quite pleasant. And of course, nice clear skies make it a beautiful afternoon. Lots of sunshine today. So those breezes will be blowing, gusting upwards of 20, 30 miles per hour down through the shore points. A little less of a wind inland, but still noticeably breezy through this afternoon. And we get another round of gusty air tomorrow as those winds blow from the north and east, making it feel like another fall day. It's actually going to feel a little bit cooler tomorrow morning as that dry air really gets going for later on tonight. Then we have a little bit of a wind shift by Thursday into Friday. So after another cool feel tomorrow, again, sunshine all afternoon, feeling great. I think by Thursday morning, with that chill that's in the air, it's going to feel quite cool for early on. 38 degrees, your actual air temperature in Sussex might even dip down to around freezing right there up in Sussex County. But then by the afternoon, we warm back into the low 60s. A few clouds work their way in, as is usual with a northeasterly breeze. But then we see a wind shift going into Friday, and that will bring back a little bit more of a milder feel come Friday afternoon. We're in the 70s across most of the state and feeling very pleasant for this weekend. Another dry overnight into Friday night, and then Saturday brings back the warmth. We're warming right back up into the 70s statewide. Might even touch the 80-degree mark as soon as Saturday afternoon. And there it is by Saturday, 3 p.m., 82, 83 degrees up in Newark and Hackensack. So a warm start to the weekend, and it gets even warmer from that point into next week. A little bit of a jump back into our summertime feel. So cool today and tomorrow, back in the 70s by Friday, touching 80 by Saturday, and in the 80s for most of the state, with that dry weather remaining, Ken, right into next week. We'll tell you more about it coming up with the full weekend forecast. It's in a few minutes.
All right. Thank you, Mike. And it is now 53 degrees in northern New Jersey at 7:04. It is 56 in Trenton and 55 down in Vineland. There you go. A lot cooler. We said yesterday this time, just wait 24 hours. You'll see a 10 plus degree difference in temperature, and we sure as heck have. In terms of traffic, we have a crash investigation going on. Route 21 northbound at Emmett Street in Newark. 2 of the 3 lanes closed. Overturned tractor trailer right now, making for a mess on the New Jersey Turnpike northbound north of Interchange 5, which is in Springfield Township. 2 left lanes blocked there. Crash investigation on Route 47 northbound north of Route 674 Garden Road in Vineland, all the way down south. All lanes are closed. And we have a disabled bus on the New Jersey Turnpike Eastern Spur northbound at Interchange 15W, which is I-280 in Kearney. 1 right lane blocked. We now have a down pole on Route 206, both directions are blocked at I-295 in Lawrence Township. All lanes are closed. And get this, we have a water main break. It's not even freezing cold yet. We got our first water main break of the fall season, shall we say. This is on Route 120, which is a busy road, Patterson Plank Road, southbound by Gotham Parkway in East Rutherford. 1 right lane of the 2 lanes are closed. We take a look at the Hudson River crossings. Boy, we got a mess already. The Lincoln is now reporting 35 minutes because it says here the center tunnel eastbound. Wait, just updated. Hang on. The center tunnel eastbound it's not saying what it was, but it says the center tunnel eastbound has some kind of an issue. They're not telling us what. That's causing some delays for all you New York bound folks. It's going to be 25 to 30 at the Lincoln. It is 20 at the Holland. Take a look at the GWB. It's already pretty heavy for this hour. You can see the lower level on the left is basically stopped for several of the lanes. That's going to cost you about 40 minutes in. It's going to be 35 on the upper level on the right. Our time now is 7:06, and a small handful of Senate Democrats, 5 to be exact, have forced a shutdown of the federal government. Yes, this time it is the Democrats. You can't blame the Republicans because it takes 60 votes in the Senate to pass any spending legislation, and the Democrats refused to support the plan. Only one Republican, Rand Paul, said that he wouldn't support it because of ideological reasons. Rand Paul has a stick up his ass. So that's the problem with Rand Paul. He doesn't, I don't like anything that's kind of spending like, I don't like it because I don't like it. He is hardcore. If it means throwing out the baby with the bathwater, Rand Paul does it. But we kind of knew that was going to be Rand Paul. But the fact is that 54 Republicans in the Senate did vote for this. Every single one of the Republicans in the House voted for it. It was, and actually a few Democrats in the House voted for it. It was only the senators, 5 or so senators who were of the Democrat persuasion who kept this from happening. So if Chuck Schumer, here's my Chuck Schumer. If Chuck Schumer tries to blame the Republicans for it, it's all Chuck Schumer, and he's a lying ass. So you could tell him I said that because I know Chuck for about 30 years. He is a lying ass. In fact, when Chuck was walking into the meeting 2 days ago at the White House to talk about where the Democrats stand on this, Chuck Schumer originally was going to give a 1-week extension so they can continue debating. And all of his ultra leftists in his party pushed him and said, no, have a shutdown. So you want to shut down Democrats? Have at it. The radical left put vulnerable families at risk in order to fight for $1 trillion in new spending that they want for things like health care for illegal aliens, and then want to reopen the friggin' borders. Like we didn't learn. All the problems with murderers and rapists and all this crap that we have, it's due to your 4 years of negligence at the border, and you want to open it up and go back to that? No. So President Trump says that he may consider laying off some non-essential workers once taxpayers see their work is, well, non-essential. Listen up.
Well, the Democrats want to shut it down. So when you shut it down, you have to do layoffs. So we'd be laying off a lot of people that are going to be very affected. And the Democrats, they're going to be Democrats. As you know, this country, no country can afford to pay for illegal immigration, health care for everybody that comes into the country. And that's what they're insisting.
Yes, they are. And Trump says mass deportations will continue during the shutdown. Oh, and those pesky U.S. District Court judges who always issue those temporary restraining orders against the administration for things like mass deportation, well, they're not getting a check. So they'll be sitting at home and they won't be bothersome. So guess what? If you're worried about government shutdown, maybe it's the best thing for the Republicans that could have ever happened, because now the Trump administration can do things unencumbered. Nice job, you Democrats. You're about as smart as a box of rocks. Good job. By the way, if you're very worried, don't be. Most people will not even notice a shutdown is in effect. Only about 30% of the government today is actually affected by a shutdown. Things with paychecks and like Social Security checks, VA administration checks, that stuff just keeps coming out. It's all automated. The Republicans snuck that one in a few years ago. So you will not notice that at all. What may happen is in a few months, if this still lingers by then, people who get like food subsidy checks, that has to be reevaluated on a regular basis. There may be an issue there, but the president, I'm sure, could sign an executive order giving a temporary extension. So Democrats want this? Bring it. You're going to be the party of no now, and you're going to be the ones blamed for it. 7:09 here in New Jersey. It was the battle of the candidates for lieutenant governor. The candidates went head-to-head on Pix 11. Republican gubernatorial nominee Jack Ciattarelli chose Morris County Sheriff James Gannon as his running mate. Democratic gubernatorial nominee Mikey Sherrill chose Dale Caldwell, president of Centenary University, as her running mate. The two were they're like really nice guys, both of them. They were very respectful with each other and the audience. No major fiery moments. On the topic of whether property taxes would be lowered, the answer was yes for Sheriff Gannon, and for Republican running mate Jack Ciattarelli. Gannon said as sheriff, he helped to consolidate regional prisons and saved millions of taxpayer dollars in the process. Listen up.
I've merged the Morris County Park Police into the Morris County Sheriff's Office. You know, they were siloed before that. We've done some other things like the Sussex County Jail, the Somerset County Jail. I have custody of those inmates now, and I get monies from that county. You know, instead of having these infrastructures all over the place, we isolated them to the Morris County Correctional Facility.
Meanwhile, the answer was less than a solid commitment for Dale Caldwell and Democrat running mate Mikey Sherrill. He said their goal would be to lower property taxes, but he stopped short of guaranteeing it. Do we have the soundbite of Caldwell? Okay, take a listen.
That is our goal, and we're looking to do everything we can. Unfortunately, the assault from the administration in Washington, the Trump administration, adding $5 billion to us makes that even harder. And so we're trying to do that in a very, very difficult environment where you have Washington that is taking money away from the state.
So that.
In fairness, these two gentlemen seem like really, really good, down-to-earth guys. They both have good, solid credentials, and I think they truly love their states. It was a pleasure watching them. Neither one of them seemed aggressive. They seemed to really like each other. That was the other thing. So it was kind of a pleasure to watch that debate. The next debate, by the way, will be between the two individuals on the top of the ticket, Ciattarelli and Mikey Sherrill. That's going to be next Wednesday evening, October 8th. There is yet another poll that just came out yesterday, by the way, that has Mikey Sherrill back on top. It's either 7 or 8 points ahead, I believe. I'm forgetting which now off the top of my head. But this is going to happen. Remember, polls are only snapshots at that moment. Some are conducted over a 1-day period, some over a 2-day period. So remember, you had two polls showing either Ciattarelli ahead by a point or tied in a state where Democrats outnumber Republicans by 860,000. So that was devastating for the Mikey Sherrill camp. And now you have a poll showing her ahead by 7 points. So remember, Ciattarelli was behind by like 12 points the day before the election with Murphy. And then on election day was only 3 points behind. So, and that was only a week's difference. And all the polls right up to that day were saying he was going to lose by 12 points. He lost by 3. So if the polls are off by 9, that means right now he's ahead by a point or two. So it all depends. Remember, don't take anything for granted. Make sure you get out and vote. And if you can vote early by mail, do so. Otherwise, vote early a week before Election Day. Get it done. Very important. 7:13. Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe has authorized the National Guard to assist ICE agents by providing administrative and logistical support at ICE facilities through September 2026. So officially, he has had his people deputized in the state. And the move is meant to free up ICE personnel for enforcement duties and follow a request from federal officials for additional resources. Kehoe said the decision was a matter of public safety, aligning with President Trump's immigration policies. But critic Democrat Congressman Ray Reid says the Guard should focus on issues at home, like healthcare, education, and infrastructure. Well, I mean, if you have illegals who are potentially murderers or rapists at home, Congressman, isn't that focusing at home so that your ICE agents who live in your state who are under persecution by left-wing radicals, so this way they could do their job? I mean, I think safety and security is always number one, right? That's what it should be. 7:14, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth delivered a sweeping overhaul of U.S. military policies during a high-profile meeting with top generals and admirals at Quantico yesterday. This was the first time ever. Look at that sea of green, of military. Get this. This was the first time in history that every single active duty U.S. general and admiral on the planet Earth were simultaneously summoned together for a meeting. You bet they were all pooping their pants thinking, we're all getting fired or something. Or this is World War IX, something like that. Thankfully, it wasn't like that. Hegseth, very serious, no-nonsense guy. I met him once, and he was very nice but serious. Hegseth announced strict new fitness and grooming standards. So no nose rings, no tats on the forehead. Nope. Also limits on anonymous complaints. So you try to complain in the background, it comes out that it's you, you're gone. Remember, the military is not a democracy. It doesn't work like this. And the return of more aggressive basic training methods, all aimed at restoring what he called a warrior ethos. So gone will be the days of lowering standards for some in order to allow certain individuals to qualify for combat roles. No offense to Mikey Sherrill, she may not qualify under Hegseth's new rules because you need to pass certain physical standards. Because if you're in combat, the enemy does not care that you're a woman. Oh, I'll treat you more gently. In combat, they I'm sorry to say, and it sounds vile, but they will beat and rape women they capture. This is what they do, and then they hope they could prey on the weaker senses that you have because we're more civilized than many of our enemies, and that we will go crazy at the fact they have one of our female colleagues. That's what they hope you will feel. Hegseth acknowledged the changes may result in fewer women on the battlefield and urged officers who disagree with this ruling, because remember, it's not a democracy, do the honorable thing and resign. You don't like what I'm saying? Take a hike. Take a hike. This is the way it is. Tough shit. Sorry. Critics raised concerns about fairness, but Hegseth again pointed out serving in the military is a privilege, not a right, and is meant for the best and most combat-ready individuals, or else you risk getting yourself or others killed. On a battlefield, the enemy doesn't give a flying crap about your feelings. President Trump has announced a new deal with Pfizer to sell popular prescription drugs at major discounts through a new website called, how do you like this one? Trump RX, just piss off the Democrats. Launching in early 2026. Under the agreement, some drugs like Duave and Tobias, Duave is for women who are going through changes, I know, will be discounted by up to 85% for Medicaid patients and direct-to-consumer buyers. In return, Pfizer gets a 3-year exemption from Trump's incoming 100% tariffs on foreign-made pharmaceuticals. The administration touts the plan as a win for affordability. 717, a virtual actress named Tilly Norwood is causing real-world backlash in Hollywood, created by UK-based AI studio Particle 6. This is fake. Right there, you're looking at a fake AI-created actress. Yep, that's fake. Tilly reportedly, Particle 6, I should say. Tilly is reportedly in talks to be signed by a talent agent, but she's fake. This spared outrage from major stars who warn the move threatens to replace human performers. Actors Union SAG-AFTRA, which I am a member of in full disclosure because of my on-air stuff that I do in Manhattan, joined the chorus calling AI actors synthetics that exploit real actors' work without permission or pay. While creator Aline van der Velden insists that Tilly is a piece of art, critics say this new wave of artificial talent risks devaluing the human heart of storytelling. And the New Jersey Department of Treasury has begun issuing so-called anchor property tax relief payments to eligible homeowners and renters across the state. This is something I totally agree with the Democrats on. This allows older retirees in the state to stay because their payments of property taxes will stay the same. They're not going to keep going up. Over 300,000 payments were sent out mid-September, and most recipients should receive their benefit within 30 days. This year, the state auto-filed applications for 1 million residents to simplify the process and maximize access to relief. Good for you. One thing I will praise you for, Democrats, that is a good idea. I think our seniors, especially our veteran seniors, deserve that respect. 718 and 2 teenage girls were killed while riding e-bikes in Cranford after being struck by a hit-and-run driver Monday evening. Authorities later took the alleged driver into custody. Community members say that he had a restraining order filed against him by one of the victims. So was this done intentionally is now the subject of the investigation. The tragedy has prompted renewed calls for safety reforms, and state officials are now moving to introduce new laws aimed at regulating e-bike use among young riders. As families mourn, the town of Cranford has united in grief, leaving flowers and calling for justice. 719 right now. Beautiful sunny fall day today on this 1st of October. A light breeze, highs around 70. Meteorologist Mike Favetta comes back with a full Garden State forecast in just a moment. You're watching ONNJ Mornings. Don't go away. Welcome back to ONNJ Mornings for your Wednesday. I'm Ken Rosato at 7:20, and we'll take calls at 888-658-0234. Straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta with the first day of October Garden State forecast. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Ken. It's nice when the calendar matches the weather forecast. Enter into a new month, a cooler month, and we have a breath of fresh air stepping outside. It's quite pleasant with that chilly breeze thanks to a dry northerly wind overnight, and that leads to a lot of sunshine today. So the clouds cleared out early. We only climbed into the upper 60s along the shore with very gusty winds for you. Inland, low 70s, still breezy, and right now visibility a clear 10 miles statewide. Not anticipating any rain over the next few days, so it remains bone dry around here, even as we head into the afternoons. Notice the two tropical systems zipping now out to sea. Couldn't even get any of that moisture up here. It was simply too dry. And so we keep it running with that low humidity right through the next few days. Dew points in the 30s, which is very typical of fall. You notice maybe the backs of your hands getting a little dry, lips turning dry. Yeah, it's that season where the moisturizer is in order, especially with that dry air through the next several days into the weekend. What that also means is that all the sunshine this weekend helps our temperatures skyrocket back into the 80s into Monday and Tuesday as well. So despite any cloud cover that may come in later Monday into Tuesday, that remains dry. I think our next opportunity for rain a whole week down the road. And it won't even be that impressive, just a quick hit of light showers that moves on by, followed by more dry weather. So this dry pattern continues with the warm up that's on the way, especially for the weekend. And speaking of the weekend forecast, a solid 10 to 12 degrees above average. I think this is a statewide average of 79 degrees. Most of the more densely populated areas of New Jersey get into the low 80s on Saturday and Sunday, mid 80s or better. A warm weekend ahead. Almost a pool weekend, if you will. Who would have thought into early October, instead of apple picking, maybe head to the beach. It's really going to be that nice. We'll tell you more about it. Our director, Pam, is screaming, no.
And the best thing is the ocean is warm. This is like the warmest point now, right? So if you go down the shore, no one else will be there on October 1st or this weekend, October 4th, 3rd, 4th, and the ocean will be perfect. So I'm with you. You and I, we'll hit the beach.
Lantern flies are pretty bad
Man,
last week.
they're nasty.
Beyond that, yeah, but you swish them away, whatever.
No, you step on them and they still live. You got to really crunch them. You got to really go, get rid of them because they reproduce like rabbits on steroids. So yeah, nasty. All right, thank you very much, Mike. And Pam, our director, is just like mad that you're going to give us back some summer this weekend. So you just lost your graces with her. We'll check back with you, Mike. It is 54 degrees right now, northern New Jersey, 55 in Trenton. In terms of traffic, we have a crash on 78 eastbound by exit 13, Union Township with the right lane closed. Crash investigation, Route 21 northbound Emmett Street in Newark. 2 left lanes closed. Jersey Turnpike overturned tractor trailer. Interchange 5 in Springfield. All lanes on left shoulder block. And your Hudson River crossings right now looking heavy. We have Lincoln and Holland both 25 to 30. Your GWB upper and lower level approach is very slow. We're talking 40 to 45 minutes in. Still have a gridlock alert week in effect, so beware of that until Friday. Try to work from home or take mass transit if you can until then. 724. An all clear was issued yesterday at Joint Base McGuire-Dix Lakehurst. The base was briefly locked down after an active shooter report. Officials found no threat, and they lifted the lockdown just before noon, and authorities say safety remains a top priority at that base. Broadway is celebrating the Garden State in 3 weeks. October 22nd, Broadway will celebrate New Jersey Night with lots of ticket discounts. You buy one ticket, get the second for $17.87. Don't know what the significance of that is. Maybe that was the year that Broadway started theater. Who knows? You have to use the code NJ Night 25. So New Jersey Night 25 when you make your purchase. NJ NIGHT 25, and you'll get that second ticket for $17.87. That's a deal. Bonus perks include New Jersey Transit deals and star power from New Jersey natives. The National Black Lives Matter movement claims $33.4 million of its cash is being withheld by one of its progressive partner organizations. In a scathing lawsuit, Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation accuses the very liberal fellow, usually on the same side, Tides Foundation, backed by George Soros, the evil underwing of left-wing funders, of alleged deceptive business practices as well as egregious mismanagement of its money. while demanding that they put that money back into the BLM coffers. BLM itself involved in about 2 million scandals, including the founder suddenly popping up with mansions all over the world and living the life of Riley with her lover, her female lover. And that is where all your money that you donated to alleviate your prejudicial feelings inside, for those of you who are racist. That's what BLM was doing with your money. Well, the lawsuit was filed last year, but the stakes were raised on Monday when the parent organization overseeing all chapters of BLM asked the California Attorney General to step in and investigate ties. Oh, what a tangled web we weave. 726, President Trump said Tuesday that Harvard University has reached a tentative deal with the Trump administration to restore $2.4 billion in frozen federal grants. America's oldest college will spend about $500 million to launch and operate, get this, trade schools. Yes. So instead of spending $500 million on lesbian poetry from Caracas, Venezuela, which gets you absolutely nowhere with that degree, they will now operate trade schools and teach you things like being an electrician and a plumber at Harvard. Can you imagine? Why not? We need them. We are short those people. This ends a clash over issues including discrimination against Jewish students and the use of race-based affirmative action. So Trump initially asked Education Secretary Linda McMahon to just take that money back, that $500 million from federal Harvard funding, after squeezing a $200 million fine out of Columbia for civil rights violations. Remember, Columbia, Jewish students couldn't even get to class or get to the library because pro-Palestinian protesters were burning the place down and literally stopping any student who looked Jewish, in air quotes, and not letting them in. They were literally physically blocking Jewish students who were paying to go to school a lot of money, and they were not allowing them in. And meanwhile, the administration, nothing to see here, allowed it to happen. They could have called in police because it's private property. Get these people arrested. You are stopping people who paid for the service from getting the service they paid for. Well, the administration had cut off grant money to Harvard and Columbia as a penalty for doing too little to combat, as I mentioned, anti-Semitism. That was following the October 7th, 2023 attack by Hamas against Israel. 728, Virginia's Attorney General is blasting woke county officials for refusing to arrest. And please listen to this. You will think this can't be true. You see this individual on my screen all the way at the end, and then the individual in the middle, that's separate. The individual on the end, that creep, is an alleged sex offender, claiming to be a woman because he looks all woman. Yeah, he sure does, to something on earth. Refusing to arrest. This was the county, this liberal county outside of D.C. Refused to arrest that guy, claiming to be a woman. So he would walk into girls' locker rooms, and he did on a number of occasions. On video, they have him doing it. And there were witnesses who said he did. There was apparently clear evidence he was hunting little girls at pools and water parks in the wealthy Washington, D.C. suburb. He is 58-year-old registered sex offender Richard Cox. Yeah, can't make that up. That's his name, Richard Cox, C-O-X. Allegedly exposed himself to little girls and women in the locker rooms and even masturbated in front of them in the girls' locker rooms. And yet, the woman in the middle, Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger, who is the Democrat now running for governor of Virginia, proudly supported legislation that permitted any man who felt like he was a woman to share female locker rooms. Go Democrats. There you go. I'm a gay man, so I talk about it, and I'm telling you, you're crazy if you think that all of us gays support that craziness, because we sure as shit don't. And if you Democrats keep siding with the extremist lunatic fringe of the LGBTQ movement, who think that, I woke up today and I'm a woman, and you think that that is not some kind of a mental disorder, keep doing it. Let's see if you ever win another race again. Investigators say Mr. Cox, a.k.a. Ms. Cox, was also found with child pornography. Oh, there you go. And a list of girls' swim class schedules at Fairfax County rec centers on his phone. However, in Fairfax County, where the Democrat-controlled board oversees the police department, authorities said they had no plans of charging Cox for his visits to 3 rec centers there where children were present. When he was finally arrested, it wasn't in that county. It was in neighboring Arlington County, where Cox is facing charges now for a laundry list of sex crimes. What is wrong with the left? What is wrong? This is like a 99-1 issue. And the left they want to die on a hill for it. Go for it. 7:30, federal officials sued pro-Palestinian groups over a 2024 synagogue protest. The Justice Department says protesters disrupted worship and harassed attendees with intimidation tactics. The suit uses a law typically protecting access to abortion clinics. Attorney General Bondi said that Americans must be free to worship without fear. 7:30, when we come back, she is a breast cancer survivor and a cardiac nurse. We will talk to an amazing woman and a doctor about how advanced screening helped save this nurse's life. Our phone lines are open, taking calls at 888-658-0234. You're watching on New Jersey Mornings. We're back in 30.
Hi, I'm Jeanette Hoffman, host of Energy Matters. Join me every night at 6 p.m. where we're discussing energy affordability, challenges, and solutions with stakeholders and elected officials. Join me weekdays at 6 p.m. on Energy Matters on ONNJ.
Good morning. It is 55 degrees at 7:32, Wednesday, October 1st, 2025. I'm Ken Rosato. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings, straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta on this 1st of October, and a pretty one, sort of fall-like. Mike, good morning, sir.
Good morning. It's nice when you can talk about the cool air, a little wind chill in the northern counties of New Jersey. Now, southern New Jersey has a gusty wind that lasts all day long, making it feel quite cool with that north and northeasterly breeze gusting up to about 40 miles per hour at times in Atlantic City, keeping the 68 degrees feeling like 68, even 70 in Avalon and Cape May. Only about a degree or two warmer west of the Parkway, where still you have some cool weather as well. We're closer to our average of 72 degrees, especially with all of that warm weather over the last few days, starting to cool things down, the clouds clearing out, and the storms moving east. These are the two tropical systems. Umberto, still a hurricane, losing its tropical characteristics later this afternoon, and then Imelda working eastward quickly and gaining just a little bit of strength before it moves over Bermuda. Beyond that, we stay dry here across New Jersey with the northerly breezes blowing today. Temperatures through this evening hold in the 60s and then cool off into the 30s overnight across the northern counties. Into tomorrow afternoon, another cool finish to the day, only reaching the mid-60s, and then we have an easterly breeze, which tends to blow in a few clouds and also some more humidity by the end of the weekend. So the futurecast showing that clear sky sticking around for the next few days, especially this afternoon. High pressure settles in, allowing for that easterly breeze on tomorrow afternoon, and then moving in from the south and west, that wind will allow for a warm-up that takes us well into the 80s on Saturday and Sunday. But with nothing but sunshine all weekend long, it'll warm up quickly each afternoon, and temperatures really seeing a spike for Sunday into Monday. So here's the nice little cool down, a break from summer, we get a fall feel, and then it's right back to that warmth. For Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we're in the low 80s for most of next week, with each afternoon remaining dry and warm, about 10 to 12 degrees above average. Then we head into the shore points, and with a little cool down for you as well. It takes a little bit longer to rebound back into the 70s, but still mid-70s through the rest of next week until we get to probably Wednesday, Thursday of next week is our next opportunity to see some wet weather. So dry as a bone until then, Ken. Feeling like fall. Great weather to do the fall activities or some beach activities if you're so inclined.
I don't know. I've seen Rocco's bones. They don't look so dry. They look kind of slobbered on. I'm just saying. Rocco likes his bones. Yes, you got it. All right, buddy. Thank you very much, Mike. It is 56 degrees now in northern New Jersey and 55 in Trenton. We have a lot of traffic. Let's take a look at I-78 right now. Eastbound, this is east of exit 13, Route 173, Union Township. This is the result of just one lane, the right lane blocked as you make your way around that bend, but it's causing a lot of traffic right now. So try to avoid that area or give yourselves extra time. Again, I-78 eastbound, east of exit 13, 173 in Union Township with the right lane closed. We have a crash investigation, Route 21 northbound at Emmett Street in Newark. 2 left lanes of the 3 lanes closed, 1 getting by, and it is bumper to bumper. Overturned tractor trailer on the Jersey Turnpike Northbound, north of interchange 5 in Springfield, all lanes on the left shoulder are blocked, and we have a disabled bus on the Turnpike Eastern Spur northbound by interchange 15W, which is by I-280 in Kearney. Know exactly where that stop is, and the right lane is blocked due to that disabled bus. Down pole on US 206, both directions at 295 down in Lawrence Township as you get closer to Philadelphia. All lanes are closed now on 206. And there's a water main break in effect, Route 120, Patterson Plank Road, and that is by Gotham Parkway in East Rutherford. That is making a mess in East Rutherford. One of the two lanes now closed. It is 7:36, and we should take a look at the Hudson River crossings if we can. Lincoln and Holland both reporting 30 minutes across, on the GWB upper and lower levels are an absolute mess today. This is because we still have a gridlock alert week in effect, and we have a truck blocking cars. Isn't that lovely? What a mess. Hey. Oh, there we go. Pam is pointing it out. The truck is preventing the people from losing. See the in the middle, right over the 888 sort of the truck coming our way. He's preventing the asses who try to use the breakdown lane as a let me get around all these people in traffic. And that truck is saying, no, you don't. You know that will give you several points on your license if you are stopped by police. And this, good for you, truck driver. He is trying to teach them a lesson. You do not use the breakdown lane to sneak around the other people. It will not get you anywhere because you will be caught by police in the next half mile. He might be saving him a ticket. 7:37 right now, and wow, busy day, 55 degrees. Megan Unver is a breast cancer thriver and survivor, cardiac nurse as well. And Dr. Harriet Borofsky is a medical director of breast imaging at Hackensack Meridian Health, and they join us this morning. Good morning, Nurse Megan and Dr. Borofsky. It is such an honor and pleasure to have you both on.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
An honor to be here.
Thank you. Well, this is a powerful story. Megan, you were high risk. Her cancer small, that it was so small that it was barely visible, but thanks to advanced screening and breast MRI that you had, it was caught early. So that early detection may very well have saved your life. And Dr. Borofsky was the one who recommended that scan, and her team is now using AI-assisted technology and risk assessments across Hackensack Meridian Health to help find breast cancers earlier, even in average risk women, which is a breakthrough like none other, right? Because the earlier you detect this, the more likely you are to cure it, right? To get rid of it. Am I right on that one? Let me ask Dr. Borofsky on that first.
Absolutely, positively. Early detection of breast cancer is key because that's the way to halt the natural progression of the disease, increase treatment options, many of which are minimally impactful to women's lives. And ultimately, our goal, our mission every single day is to save women's lives and detect breast cancer early.
Amen to that. And Megan, you were getting mammograms and ultrasounds every single year. You were doing everything you were supposed to do. So what made this year different that Dr. Borofsky said, you know what, let's go get an MRI?
Well, you can ask her, but from my understanding is that because of my family history, my very dense breasts, and those combined really kind of triggered her to, order the MRI and take the next step. And thank God she did.
And we'll talk to Dr. Borofsky on that one in a minute. I just want to know the moment you found out that you had breast cancer. I can't. In fact, I get sick in my stomach thinking about those words. What went through your mind at that moment?
Well, ironically, I was at work taking care of patients. So I had kept on, refreshing my screen for results. I had a sinking gut feeling. And yeah, seeing that show up as a positive, I immediately got up, told my coworkers, can you please take over, and walked down the hallway, called my husband, called my best friend, and then Dr. Borofsky called right after that. But it's a sinking, gutting feeling, regardless of what you may or may not be expecting and anticipating, regardless of your history and the complexities. It's a gut punch for sure.
Oh, God. And Dr. Borofsky, so what was it about that year that you said, you know what, let's go get an MRI?
Well, I'm going to start by saying screening mammograms for breast cancer are absolutely essential. But for many women, they are not enough. First, having a negative mammogram doesn't mean you don't have breast cancer. It means that a cancer was not detected. And secondly, some women particularly those that have dense breast tissue and those that are high risk and have dense breast tissue, and that's Megan's story. Mammograms alone may miss 20 to 30% of breast cancer.
Right.
So, what we have implemented is a more personalized, risk-based approach to screening for breast cancer. So for Megan, it was a mammogram and ultrasound, which looked fine, but then she met criteria for more advanced additional, what we call high risk screening with an MRI in 6 months. And it is the contrast. We give contrast by vein, looking for breast cancers in high risk women because certain more aggressive cancers bring in abnormal vessels so that they can grow as the first thing they do. And MRI and the contrast we give is absolutely key in detecting those very early but aggressive cancers. And that was Megan's story.
And so for those that don't understand, when you say contrast, it's like a dye, right, that goes into the blood, and it makes those little clusters of capillaries and veins and arteries that feed a potential tumor, right? You see it sort of like a grape being surrounded by a web. That's the way a doctor described it to me as, and that is
Exactly.
what feeds a tumor or a potential growing cancer. Do I have that right, doctor?
You got it. I couldn't have said it better. It is giving this contrast by vein that shows us blood flow, and it
Amazing.
shows up right on the MRI. Really
Have you
essential
gotten
information to have for early detection.
I didn't mean to step on you, doctor. I'm sorry. Have you gotten any pushback from insurance, or are they more willing at this point? Because think about it, if you detect it early with an MRI, you are saving tens of thousands. I'm talking about the money side of it now. Aside from the more important thing is the human life, obviously. But from an insurance company perspective, you're saving a lot of money in the long run. Have you gotten pushback, or are they more likely to approve an MRI in certain cases?
They are more likely to approve an MRI if we do risk reporting. What do I mean by that? When Megan or any other woman comes in for her mammogram, the technologist asks a whole series of questions. Reproductive history, family history, breast density factors in, prior biopsy. There is a certain tool that we use that gives for each woman her lifetime risk for breast cancer. If it is 20% or higher, that's considered high risk, and insurance will authorize MRI in those situations, and we receive very little pushback. Now, the difficult thing is insurance companies have to cover screening mammograms fully. Anything additional, whether it be an ultrasound or an MRI, factors into a woman's insurance product. There are deductibles, co-pays, which could make it an affordability issue.
So we're hoping that we could get some legislation passed, because this is not just something that, oh, well, I think I might want to have this. This is something we're talking about, saving lives. And again, this extra expense, I put in air quotes, when you're talking early detection, so you can get quicker and in the long run, less expensive treatment. This makes sense from every angle. So there should be no out of pocket from women for this. This should be an automatic. It's not like it was voluntary that a woman said, I want to put some breasts on. And and I remember a doctor telling me that if a woman lived to be 200, every woman who lived to be 200 would eventually develop breast cancer. So it's like just by statistics. So insurance companies got to wake up and realize this is not something that's just because they're hypochondriacal. We need to protect the women, and money should not be an issue. Over to Megan, if I could. I'm sorry, I sound more like I should join a board of advisors so that people wake up and realize this. And it's amazing that it isn't just automatic. Megan, if I can ask, as a nurse, um, it must be more unnerving for you because you know what the medical terminology is and whatnot. So, did you always go about every time you had a medical checkup yourself thinking the worst? Or are you that? Because I have two nurse friends who are both very stressed out every time they go for a checkup.
Yeah, I think that I work really hard at having that healthy awareness, as I like to say, and not having it consume me. And that was the way I went about my preventative treatment and all my tests and my mammograms and ultrasounds. And then, unfortunately, once you do have cancer, it always does have a seat at the table. So I try to keep that seat pretty far down at the table, but you still need to have that healthy awareness. But it's hard. You really have to work hard to not let it consume you, because it can easily happen.
Well, I should mention right now, Dr. Borofsky, you're over at Hackensack Meridian Health, and you guys recently upgraded to AI-assisted 3D mammography. Now that helps, right? But you still need a trained eye. I have a friend who's a radiologist who says AI helps, but you need to know what to look for. Do I have that one right too?
You've got it right. Physicians, radiologists are human beings. Let's be real. Um, we get tired, we get distracted, we absolutely do our best. We are looking at thousands of images at a very fast pace. I feel like the AI enhances my ability to detect breast cancer. It is a robust image checker, and it does detect some very subtle areas that could be cancer, architectural distortion, and calcifications. Right now, we still do need human beings to interpret those images, to see patients, to perform procedures. Will there be a day when AI actually reads screening mammograms? It's called autonomous reads. That day may happen. It's not today. It could be in the future, but given the shortage of physicians, that too may enhance our ability to provide care for screening mammograms.
Amazing. Well, it is so good to have you both on. We need to know more of this, especially as the technology increases. Dr. Borofsky, you have to come back too and talk more about this. Megan
Love to.
Unver, a breast cancer thriver and cardiac nurse. God bless you and congratulations on getting the
Thank you.
treatment you got and finding this early. And Dr. Harriet Borofsky, I could talk to you for hours. Medical director of breast imaging at Hackensack Meridian Health. Thank you both for joining us this morning. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Ken.
you.
You bet. Wow, what a story. Imagine, just think how there would be a change in trajectory if Dr. Borofsky didn't say we need an MRI. It would have been a whole different story. And it just does my heart good to know that thankfully this happened the way it did. Pam, let's forego break if we can, 7:47 right now. And October is Hunger Action Month. New Jersey's 5 food banks are teaming up to raise awareness. We're going to talk about that. It's a beautiful sunny fall day today, 1st of October. A little bit of a breeze too, highs around 70. Meteorologist Mike Favetta told us this would happen, and it's happening. Straight to Mike right now with the Garden State forecast. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Ken. I have an update for you because we mentioned about a promo code 1787, the year. It rang a bell. I went, that date sounds very familiar. Well, a throwback to 4th grade at St. Virgil's School in Morris Plains. We had a New Jersey class. Okay, so 9-year-old Michael sitting in his classroom in Morris Plains, and this New Jersey class, that was the year the state of New Jersey was founded, 1787. So there's your answer.
Why didn't they just say that? You know, I'm born in New. Why didn't they just? I mean, how hard would it have been to add 2 words, the year, or 4 or 5 words, the year of New Jersey's birth? Duh. I mean, good Lord, I'm sorry. Like the whole world's supposed to know that. Thankfully for Mike Favetta, I appreciate you. I'm sorry. Now I'm going to be ranting about that all morning. Let's add that to the rant list.
It's the K through 12 schooling in New Jersey that kind of ingrains that in your head, I guess. That must be
Good
it.
deal. Your
Maybe
money
I'm not
was
the
well
only one. I don't
spent.
know.
No, your money is well spent at Catholic school. Good deal. All right, Mike, what are we looking for today, sir?
We've got some very pleasant weather today, a fall-like feel here across New Jersey. It'll look beautiful throughout this afternoon, but not that warm. Temperatures only climb to 68 in Hackensack, 69 in Jersey City. Feeling quite cool even there towards Sussex County, where the dry weather persists this week. So this drought monitor is going to get a lot worse. We'll probably see some shades of red appear by tomorrow when the new update comes out, because we're already running at that 2 to 4 inch rainfall deficit across that stripe, and I think that gets worse into next week. Keeping an eye toward the tropics, with no new development expected over the next week or so. We'll just keep our eyes tuned to the very warm weather that sets up across the Midwest, and that shifts eastward over the next 2 weeks. And you saw in our 7-day forecast, it gets warm this weekend into next, with slightly higher than average rain chances down across southern New Jersey. So throughout this weekend, warm weather returns. We get this little false start to fall throughout today and tomorrow with these cool mornings, back into the 70s by Friday, and then 80s this weekend, 81 on Sunday. That's one of the cooler locations. We could be in the mid 80s across across the state in some of the more urbanized areas. Monday and Tuesday in the low 80s as well. Dry, dry, dry. Low humidity and then rain-free beyond that. So Saturday and Sunday, even down the shore, feeling warm, and 70s at the beaches Monday and Tuesday. Nice weather all around, but no rainfall to be found. Have to wait for about a week to get even a chance of rain next Wednesday, Ken.
Look at that. But we do need rain. So for those
Oh,
who are
yeah.
saying, "Oh, good, no rain," let's ask Mother Nature and the Lord up above, give us the rain because we don't want to go into the winter season in a drought mode. Mike, thank you so much, sir. 7:51. It is 55 degrees. In terms of traffic, we have a down pole now on Route 206 northbound by 295 down in Lawrence Township. That's as you head toward Philly. All lanes are closed. That's been causing a mess all morning. Another mess here, crash investigation, Route 21 northbound by Emmett Street in Newark. Two of the three lanes on the left side closed. Overturned tractor trailer on the Turnpike northbound, north of Interchange 5, which is in Springfield. All lanes on the left shoulder are blocked. That's causing a nightmare. And a disabled bus on the eastern spur of the New Jersey Turnpike northbound by Interchange 15W, I-280 in Kearney. That has the right lane blocked. Still have that water main break. It's not causing massive issues, though. Apparently, they're diverting people around it. But this is on by 120, which is Patterson Plank Road in East Rutherford. So apparently they do have a whole detour plan in effect, which seems to be helping. Remember, still have a gridlock alert week because we have the UN General Assembly in session, even though the world leaders have gone home. But because of that, you still have a mess in Manhattan. So the Lincoln and Holland are both 25 to 30 across. Look at the GWB upper and lower level, pretty much stopped. It's going to cost you about 45 in. So give yourselves lots of time to get in. If you can, work from home or certainly take mass transit. It's only another couple of days, folks. And then next week, things should be back to normal where you only have to be delayed 40 minutes due to traffic. It is what it is. We live in the New York tri-state or Philly tri-state, depending, or bi-state, depending on what part of New Jersey you are watching this. And I tend to only think of northern New Jersey, and I forget we have a big audience down in the southern part too. 7:52, and we are joined this morning by Elizabeth McCarthy, who is president and CEO of the Community Food Bank of New Jersey, and Chip Pellex, who is president and founder of America's Grow-A-Row. October 1st marks the start of Hunger Action Month, and New Jersey's 5 food banks are teaming up to raise awareness and fight food insecurity head on. One major effort is a statewide collaboration with Grow-A-Row, a New Jersey farm donating over 1 million pounds of fresh produce to local food banks. The goal, of course, make sure healthy fruits and veggies reach 1.1 million residents across the state struggling with hunger. Good morning to Elizabeth and Chip. Good to have you both on the show.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Ken.
You bet. It is, we tend to get involved in our own lives and we forget that there are so many of our fellow New Jersey residents struggling with hunger. And we think about it more, maybe Thanksgiving, and we forget they have to eat 365 days. So let's talk about the hunger crisis. Elizabeth, how big is it in New Jersey right now?
Yeah, I mean, as you said, it's over 1 million people and over 270,000 children. So food insecurity really is at an all-time high. I think that's surprising to people in a state like New Jersey that is kind of a wealthier state. People don't really think of their neighbors as being hungry, but it's every community in New Jersey struggles with this.
Yeah, and 1 in 9 residents, I'm seeing the statistic, is food insecure. So that doesn't always mean that they have absolutely nothing to eat, but it could mean that food might be sharing one tiny, what should be a meal for one, or having no vegetables, or so a meal might be a bag of chips, right? So I mean, it really, how does that look like? Does it differ like that from family to family who's food insecure?
Yeah, that's exactly right. You really nailed it. I mean, it's about having consistent access to healthy food. So we know that for kids to thrive in school, for adults to be able to work well, you need healthy food that's really going to fuel your body and keep you going, not just bag of chips or junk food.
And ironically, we have a man sitting next to you whose name is Chip. No link to the chips there. But Chip, you make sure that people get good, healthful food with fresh produce. So talk about how important it is to have fresh produce on a regular basis.
Is critical. And really, as Elizabeth mentioned, you need healthy food in order really to be productive. So our role here is to make sure that it's not just food, but healthy food that improves the health and overall well-being of those folks that we serve. And we do that through our farm here, where we have 423 acres in the state, and we're delivering and harvesting 4 million pounds of produce for those folks who need it the most.
Yeah. And the good news about New Jersey, because I'm originally from lower New York State, our soil in this state is awesome. When I first moved here and I planted a garden, I was amazed by how beautiful the vegetation comes up, the vegetables, the tomato. And we call them Jersey tomatoes. I think they're the best tomatoes in the whole country. Maybe California is a close second. But we do grow beautifully in this state. We need to take more advantage of it to help people who desperately need that food. Explain how the partnership with America's Grow-A-Row came together first.
Sure. If we just go back in history, when Kathleen DeChara, who was the founder of the Community Food Bank of New Jersey, and I had a meeting, both founders, and we both recognized that, again, back in the day, it wasn't just about food, but healthy food. And how can we partner? And so we met and we had some discussions. We worked together, able to build a wonderful foundation. And since then, we have been working with our great partners, of course, Elizabeth and her team, helping us to get the food out. Our role is to bring the food to the front stoop, if you will, and the food bank comes by, they pick it up, and they distribute it to their agency. So it's a great relationship. Again, we're the beginning of the food chain, but we're only a partner. We are not the solution, but we are part of the solution with great partners who we work with.
Yeah. So this kind of statewide collaboration among all the food banks must be really good, because I know I used to work with, there's a whole, well, I could go down the list. I don't want to leave anyone out, but there was a group I used to work with out of Tenafly, New Jersey, northern New Jersey, Table to Table. I'm sure you know who Table to Table is. Wonderful. Awesome organization. And there's, I know ShopRite supermarkets in northern New Jersey, they donate refrigerated trucks so that you can get food delivered. I mean, we have awesome people in this state, thankfully, but the need keeps growing. That's the problem. It's not like, well, we took care of the problem, hunger's over. So you really need this kind of statewide collaboration. All the food banks are trying to do their thing, and it's nice that you could help bring them all together, because they're all the goal for all of them. It's not competition. The goal for all of them is to feed people who need food. What can viewers do during Hunger Action Month in order to help out?
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to get involved, and we really encourage people. If you go to our website, cfbnj.org, you can volunteer, you can donate, you can advocate. If you follow our social media, you'll find ways to have your voice be heard, to let your elected officials know that this is an important topic to you. But also just you can volunteer, sign up for a shift either at the community food bank or at Grow-A-Row. We both really rely on volunteers from the communities. So it's a great opportunity for people to really get in, give back, and children can do it too, which is a great opportunity to really have your kids know from early on that they can be part of the solution.
Yeah. I don't care who you are or what walk of life you're from. There's innate and just part of being human. Everyone knows what a little tiny bit of hunger feels like. Just a little, like I'm hungry for lunch. That is not what we're talking about here. We're talking about people who may not eat, and they are sub-nutrified on a daily basis in many cases. And that should never happen. Not in this society where we have so much of an abundance in this country. Nobody should be in that circumstances. And I think this is what it plays on everybody's senses. If you are human and you have a heart, you can't let anyone say, I may not want to donate cash, but you can come and eat at my table anytime you want. How do you possibly get over 1 million pounds of produce on that scale? How do you grow and deliver that much produce?
Well, we're heavily volunteer based, and that's a great thing about this program, Ken. As you mentioned about the heart of giving back and that innate feeling. There's an innate feeling of people coming out to the farm as well. So there's a lot of excitement. People want to come out here and volunteer on the farm. Our 14,000 volunteers play a critical role. They're the backbone and the lifeblood of what we do here. We do have a farm team, but our volunteers harvest around 85 to 90% of all the 4 million pounds a year in total that we harvest and distribute. And so, yeah, it's a great opportunity. If anyone wants to go to our website to help us, because we certainly have a long ways to go for the balance of the season, but it's all harvested on a daily basis. We have the Community Food Bank of New Jersey food bank trucks that come in, on a weekly basis, and we also have other food banks across the state. And now we're working with the MARC, which is the Mid-Atlantic Regional Co-op, where they're able to take more of our produce. And this is like the big win, is that we've always been challenged that we have so much produce in such a short period of time. How do we distribute that across the state evenly? And so 35% of our produce remain in the state, but we really wanted 50%. So with this collaborative effort across the food banks and the MARC and America's Grow-A-Row, we're proud to say that now 55% of our produce is going to stay in state. That's an incremental 1 million pounds to help the residents, the 1 in 9, that Elizabeth mentioned before.
Just amazing. That's an amazing amount. We're out of time right now, but I want to make sure we get your website up. What is your website address?
americasgrowow.org
and cfbnj.org.
There you go. Help out. We desperately, year-round, 365 days, they need help. It's not just a Thanksgiving issue. Elizabeth McCarthy, President and CEO of the Community Food Bank of New Jersey, CFB, and Chip Palex, President and founder of America's Grow-A-Row. God bless you both for what you do, and thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
You bet. All right, 8:01 right now. We'll be right back. You're watching ONNJ Mornings, and when we come back, the New Jersey Oddities Market, we'll tell you all about it. We'll be back in 30. Hello, it is 8 a.m. Wednesday, October 1st. By September, I miss you already. 2025. My goodness. Welcome back to ONNJ Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. We will take your calls at 888-658-0234. It will be a gorgeous sunny fall day this first day of October. A light breeze too. Highs around 70. Pam, our director who loves the fall, listen, I'm a summer guy, but a sunny day, 70, dry, beautiful blue skies. No problem with that. We get into like the 20s and snow and wind. Hey, sorry for that wine. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with a check of the Garden State forecast. Would you like some cheese with that wine, Mr. Rosato?
Cheese and crackers, yes, with the wine. It's going to be a little bit cooler today, but you know what, Ken? We're right back to the warmth this weekend. So even though there's that cooler feeling around, making it feel like fall, which is fitting on the first day of October, even still in the mid-60s down the shore, it feels like 46 degrees with that light breeze over in Morristown. Even 47 up in Sussex. So the wind taking about a degree or two off, making for a wind chill. It'll actually be more pronounced tomorrow with a cooler start to the day. As far as currently, we're running about 5 to 7 degrees cooler, but it is noticeably cooler because of the dry air. Our air is running very dry compared to yesterday. And with that, we'll start to see the temperature drop into this afternoon and only warm into the mid-60s. The gusty breeze most pronounced down the shore with that easterly and northeasterly wind today blowing from the north and northeast and making it feel quite breezy into this evening. I think by the overnight into tomorrow, the wind starts to move in from the east, and that will bring back a little bit more of a flooding potential with coastal flooding down the shore as we approach our full moon into tomorrow. So keep that in mind around high tide. But beyond that, we're just running fine throughout the most of the state with temperatures running cooler and closer to average, about the mid-60s today, climbing tomorrow again into the mid-60s with less of a gusty wind, but still a few more clouds down the shore, even 50s down the shore. So it'll feel nice and cool tomorrow morning and some low 30s there up in the northwestern counties. Friday sees the winds of change because we get a more of a southwesterly wind by the end of the day Friday, and that pumps in more heat and, dare I say, a little bit of humidity to warm us back into the upper 70s and low 80s by this weekend. So the future cast a little further into the weekend brings back warm weather and makes it feel like summer really never left us. After that cool down today and tomorrow, look at that. As soon as Saturday, we're back at 80 degrees. So a little bit of a vacation from summer, and then we're right back to the summer feeling this weekend into next. We'll tell you more about any rain chances coming up, Ken, in the next few minutes.
All right. We'll be looking forward to it, Mike. Thank you, sir. It is 55 degrees northern New Jersey, and we have a temperature 55 in Trenton as well, 52 down by Cape May, and 54 in Vineland. Lots of traffic to talk about. Let's start off New Jersey Turnpike by Interchange 5, which is Route 541, Springfield Township. These folks are now getting off to that point. What we have is all lanes and left shoulder blocked as these folks make their way through that area right there. And that is due to an overturned tractor trailer they're about to drive right by. So that's why there's some just residual slowdowns. But I will let Pam switch over to the next shot of the New Jersey Turnpike. This is a little uglier when we get to it. This next shot on the Turnpike is a disabled bus by the Eastern Spur, northbound by interchange 15W, I-280 in Kearney, and the right lane is blocked. Look at this. So both of those branches will converge up ahead. You could see the Pulaski Skyway there on the right side. So they are making their way there. This is now, you have 280, you have the airport near there. This is just an absolute mess. I mean, these folks are just bumper to bumper. They're barely moving at all. So lots of extra travel time there. We have a down pole, US 206, northbound I-295 in Lawrence Township as you go toward Philly. All lanes are closed there. We have a water main break on Patterson Plank Road, southbound by Gotham Parkway, East Rutherford, with the right lane closed at this point. And we have our Hudson River crossings all a mess. Still a gridlock alert week in effect in Manhattan because we still have UN people in town. Even though the world leaders were only here last week, the ambassadors and the consuls, they're all in town this week. Pretty much this is sort of a let's have lunch week. But the fact is that every time they come by with their entourages and their black vehicles with the sirens and stuff, that causes massive traffic. So we have about 30 to 35 minutes of both the Holland and the Lincoln. We take a look at the GWB upper and lower levels. Oh, it's a little better now in the upper on the right. The lower is still kind of heavy. They're reporting 35 minutes on the upper, 45 on the lower to get across. 8:07 right now, and Lauren Kozinski is the owner of Dragon Duck Creations and longtime vendor at the Jersey City Oddities Market. Yeah, that's what it's called. I love that. For years, this market has brought together artists, collectors, and just plain curious folks, offering everything from handmade jewelry to vintage taxidermy. Yep. Could always use that spare deer's head. But now the market is wrapping up its final show, which you would think that Jersey City is the perfect place for this. It's always an eclectic, diverse place. Let's first welcome, though, Lauren. Good morning to you. Good to have you on.
Hi, Ken. Thanks for having me.
Love the name. Tell everybody the New Jersey City's oddity. Sorry, let me start again. Tell us about the Jersey City Oddities Market.
Sure. So the Jersey City Oddities Market was started by Brittany Graziosi almost 10 years ago now. She makes jewelry using bones and insect parts and things like that. And when she was trying to find art markets and vendor shows where she could pop up and show her own jewelry, she was frequently dismissed as being, too weird, too creepy. So she started her own. And there are more of us out there than you'd think that make this kind of art, and more people out there who want it, I think, than anyone really knew until she got us started here in Jersey City.
I think that's great. Listen, everybody has to have some piece of art in their home that's a conversation piece, right? You could have a beautiful painting, a beautiful picture, but then you want the one thing where people coming around with a glass of wine say, whoa, what is that? You want that to start conversation. Otherwise, you're just boring. I love creative. This is awesome. So now the weekend is the final market. So when and where is it happening? And why is this the final?
Sure. So we'll be at the Harsma Cemetery. That's at 435 Newark Avenue in Jersey City on October the 12th from 12 till 5 p.m. And this will be the last market. Like I said, Brittany's been running this for almost a decade now, and she is ready to sort of start to move on. There are a lot of other oddities markets that have opened since she started this one. And so she feels like there is a lot of space to let these creators continue to share their work without her having to be the one to bring it to the world.
Of course, you brought a smile to my face when you mentioned it's at a cemetery. Of course, it's at a cemetery. Of course, why not? Listen, nobody's going to complain about you setting up tables there. They'll have no problem. And it's a pretty park, right? Do you know that people in New York City used to have lunch on the weekends? It was a big deal. They would go to church and then they would go to the cemetery and they would have picnic lunches. Today, we think that's creepy. Why? It's a beautiful park. Nobody's going to bother you, right? Why waste that
Exactly.
land? It's perfect. Is there a cost, by
Exactly.
the way, to attend? Is there any fee, or can anyone just come?
Yeah, there is. There's an $8 fee at the door. Nothing's being collected in advance. You just pay when you come in. They can take cash, and I believe they'll be taking Venmo payments as well. And that fee goes actually to the upkeep of the cemetery. So Harsmith Cemetery is a historic cemetery here in Jersey
Mhm.
City. And so this is actually a fundraiser for them as well as an art market for us.
It's nice. That's awesome. Jersey City has such great history. It's just a wonderful city. For those who don't know, it's the second largest city in the state of New Jersey after Newark, and it has its own history and its own vibe and its own coolness. And it's even as diverse as Newark is. Jersey City's way more diverse. We have an Indian community there, Asian, rest of Asian community there, African community. It is a beautiful blend of people and great restaurants too. Talk about some of the vendors and items that people are going to find when they get there.
Sure. So there are 25 plus vendors. You'll have a wide range, including people working with taxidermy, wet specimen remains, jewelry, silversmiths, as well as like bones and things like that in the jewelry, printmakers, sculptors, just about anything you can think of. There's probably someone representing that part of the art market.
I love it. And tell us about Dragon Duck Creations. What kind of work do you make and sell?
Sure. I am a taxidermy bone artist. I work in mixed media collage primarily. So I work with found animal remains and dried flowers. I make them into collages that sort of work on that like memento mori kind of feeling, the beauty of both life and death in the same space.
And for those who think it's creepy, look, the animal died, all right? And rather than having its remains just kind of become earth again, why not do something to celebrate the beauty of what is naturally the animal? And I think that's a sort of an homage to the sacredness of what was the life of that animal. Is that how you view it when you create art?
That's exactly it. I look at my creations as sort of a memorial piece, right? For everyone who comes through. We give ourselves memorials, we give our pets memorials. Why not also give that raccoon in the garden a little memorial too?
Yeah, I mean, to see, it's funny right away they're down cones because they knock over the garbage cans. To watch a raccoon or to see people who have, and I don't recommend, you shouldn't try to domesticate a raccoon on your own, but they have been in some cases. They're incredibly smart, beautiful animals, and I'm with you. I get it. So with the oddities market now coming to a close, what's next for you and your work? You said there are other oddities markets you would go to then at that point?
Yeah, absolutely. There are several different markets throughout the state. I also show my work. Luckily we've gotten less afraid, I think, of these kind of oddities things. So I've been able to also show my work at more traditional art markets as well as in some galleries. So I will continue to do what I've been doing. I will absolutely miss the Jersey City Oddities Market. This is my home market and sort of has been my first call for the year. I make sure that I have space for it most of all. So I will definitely miss it, but I will not be stopping.
And again, it's not this weekend, but the following weekend, right? Is the final
October the
day.
12th.
And listen, Lauren, please, I want you back here again, and we need to show some of your work if we can next time up. Because stupid me, I was totally unaware that this existed. And when I first read this, when our producer got this all lined up, I said, "That is awesome." And there are definitely, I have relatives of mine who would flock. They're going to be flocking to this thing in a week and a half. I think it's awesome. That's what art's about. Art's about pushing it to the edge a little bit and getting you to pay attention. Why not? This is brilliant. Lauren Kaczynski, owner of Dragon Duck Creations, longtime vendor at the Jersey City Oddities Market. Go check out their last weekend, next weekend, and follow Lauren wherever she is. It's great to have you on. Please come back, and thanks for joining us today.
Thanks so much, Ken.
You bet. Have a good day. That's so cool. I think, see, I'm weird, I guess. But I think that's a really, really cool way to exhibit art. And it's a perfect conversation piece. Why not? If you have something like weird with an old phone, it's going to go in the garbage anyway. Why not make art out of it? 8:14 now, 55 degrees. And when we come back, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. We're going to talk about what to do to help break the cycle of domestic violence. It's going to be a beautiful sunny fall day today. First day of October. Light breeze too. Highs around 70. Meteorologist Mike Favetta will return with your full Garden State forecast. And we want to take your calls too. 888-658-0234. If we're in the middle of a news story, in the middle of an interview, you can call and become part of the story or part of the interview. We want to hear from you. 888-658-0234. You're watching ONNJ Jersey Mornings. We're back in 30. Hello and welcome back to ONNJ Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. It's 8:16, taking calls at 888-658-0234. If you want beautiful sunshine, not too hot or humid, a little breeze, you got a perfect day today for the 1st of October. Straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta with the Garden State forecast, although the warmth is coming back, isn't it?
That's right. We get a very nice, pleasant feel after some cool mornings, enough to prompt a little bit of a frost advisory north and west of New Jersey. So right there on the border, there in the northwestern corner of Sussex County, could have a little bit of frost there in the valleys. Beyond that, there's a large area across southern New Jersey that's under a coastal flood advisory for this afternoon around the time of high tide. All that gusty wind pushing in the higher than average tidal waters because of the approaching full moon. So a little bit of extra high surf at the beaches as well due to the storms offshore, those tropical systems we've been talking about all week. Our forecast today is gusty, is breezy down the shore, and temperatures feeling cooler, only at 69 degrees, low humidity too in New Brunswick with clear sky and unlimited visibility. It'll look beautiful today, no chance of rain for at least the next 7 days. It's going to be dry around here. So with all of the moisture headed out to sea with those two tropical systems, we remain in that fall feel with the low humidity. Anytime dew points are in the 30s, that is dry. You feel it, especially into the weekend with the warm weather returning. And the reason for the rapid warm up this weekend is due to that dry air, the sunshine working in both days, Saturday and Sunday, heating us up very quickly and making it feel very pleasant, even going into Monday and Tuesday. So this weekend's weather, nice and dry, 80 degrees both days, a beautiful weekend to enjoy. Just hot for the apple picking. You're going to have to drink the apple cider to cool down, Ken, this weekend. That's how warm it'll be.
But is it hard apple cider or is it, the soft stuff?
Well, it's your choice.
Yeah, I stick to the soft drink. I'm a teetotaler. I gave up the other stuff years ago. Had my share though, plenty of it. All right, Mike, we'll check. Mike's like, I'll stay silent. We'll check back with you in a little bit, buddy. I appreciate you. A lot of traffic to talk about. Let's take a look at 287 right now. Delays northbound, south of exit 8, Possumtown Road. This is the shot. This is Possumtown Road exit right there. So that's what we're talking about. There isn't an accident. There's no overturned anything. This is just traffic. It's all about volume. So again, delays in 287 northbound from south of exit 8 Possumtown Road all the way to exit 12. We're talking 4 to 5 miles from Piscataway to Franklin Township. That's what you have. Just massive volume. Yuck. Over at the New Jersey Turnpike, we'll let Pam get this shot. The Eastern Spur Northbound by interchange 15 WI 280 in Kearney, we have the right lane blocked. This is what, there we go. And you can see the traffic it's causing. Those two extreme lanes on the extreme right and extreme left merge together up ahead as you get closer to the Pulaski Skyway on the right side. So this is by 280 in Kearney, and it's as you're going toward the airport. These folks are headed toward Newark Airport. That's just a lot of traffic right now as well. We have a lot of this morning. There's also a water main break right now in, in East Rutherford by Route 120, Patterson Plank Road. And we have a down pole on 206 northbound at 295 in Lawrence Township, making your way toward Philadelphia. Remember, we still have a gridlock alert week in effect in Manhattan. All the ambassadors are still in town. You should try to take mass transit or work from home if you can today and tomorrow and Friday. If you can't do that, you have to drive into Manhattan, try to avoid the Upper East Side because they have sporadic closures of intersections, sometimes lasting 15 or 20 minutes. Not even walking, not just driving. They will put grates up and police will stop you until the ambassadors pass, and you have to wait 15 minutes. It's awful. So try to avoid the Upper East Side if at all possible. Right now, we look at the Hudson River crossings, though, in Lincoln and Holland are 25 to 30 now, we're told. In the GWB, upper and lower levels, still very heavy. 35 on the right side at the upper, and it's about 40 at the lower, which is your left side. And we have 8:20 right now, our time, and a beautiful, again, sunny day right now, 54 degrees. And October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And while many people think of physical or emotional abuse, there's another form that often goes unnoticed: financial abuse. It's actually the most common form of domestic violence, yet only 3% of people recognize it as abuse. Joining us now is Charisse Kimbrough, who is Relationship Abuse Program Officer at the Allstate Foundation, to help us understand the signs of financial abuse and how to break the cycle. Good morning, Charisse.
Good morning.
And so I'm sure a lot of people don't know or have never heard of the term. So for those who don't know, and I only recently understood what this was about, talk about what financial abuse is.
Of course. And as you mentioned, today starts Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men will experience domestic violence in their lifetime, and nearly all will experience financial abuse. And financial abuse happens when one party tries to control, limit, or restrict another party's ability to access, use, or accumulate financial resources. And as you mentioned, so many people don't recognize this as a form of domestic violence. And given the pervasive nature of domestic violence itself, it makes this issue really important for us to be talking about today. So thank you again for this opportunity.
100%. And I get what you're talking about in this case. If somebody wants to be a little more controlling and they may control the purse strings, maybe they're the one with the job while the other person is home, whether it be the male or the female in the relationship, taking care of a child or taking care of the home, or is temporarily unemployed, then the person who's making the income, if they tend to want to exert power, then they have, am I on the right path here? Then they literally control the purse strings and how you live your life. Is this what we're talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not even limited to when one party works and the other party does not earn income outside the home, because really financial abuse can take on many forms. It can be, as you mentioned, with somebody even interfering with somebody's ability to get a job or keep a job. And they can do that by restricting someone's ability to get to work, keeping someone from being productive at work by interrupting them consistently with text messages and phone calls, or even being as extreme as coming to the job place and making threatening comments and statements, which really puts that person at risk. It can also look like taking out credit cards in someone else's name without their knowledge, or coercing them or forcing them to take out a loan or a credit card that they might not want to take. It can be enforcing an allowance without consent. It can be excessively monitoring spending. So really, as you what the things you mentioned definitely, fall into that whole idea that people do it to try to exert control and create dependency.
And that was the next question was, is this control? And it sure as hell sounds like it. And that's people with their own insecurities trying to exert that kind of power over another human being. What are some of the warning signs that somebody could be experiencing financial abuse?
Well, really, anytime when you see like any of the qualities or the behaviors that I just mentioned would be a sign, or if you hear someone talk about having to get permission to use to resources. And I know we talk about like, we want to be aligned on financial decisions as a couple or in a relationship, but when you can tell when it seems like a permission, I would say like with a fear component to it. Anytime someone feels afraid to spend or afraid to do something with regards to their own finances, whenever someone doesn't seem to have any autonomy or agency with regards to how they use financial resources or ability to make decisions, those are really some early signs that can cause you to maybe listen a little bit harder or ask one or two, compassionate questions of that person.
And this could impact people long term, right? Even if after they leave the relationship. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, well, survivors say that the lack of access to financial resources is the number one barrier to their safety. And survivors report only having access to $175.50 that they can access on their own without their harmful partner's interference. So you can imagine someone trying to leave an unsafe environment and all they have is $175.50. They're not going to get very far. And so the average cost of domestic violence over a survivor's lifetime is $104,000. So if you can imagine the cost of going to court, lost wages, therapy, sometimes hospital bills. So the financial impact is really significant over time.
And the Allstate Foundation is working to raise awareness and support survivors. In fact, probably one of the first organizations I hear doing this, talking about this in the forefront. So tell us what you're doing to help raise that awareness.
Yeah, well, having wonderful opportunities like talking with you here today. And the Allstate Foundation, as you mentioned, has been working on this issue for 20 years, and we've invested over $100 million over that time period, and working in partnership with many national domestic violence organizations who provide direct help to survivors in the form of cash assistance, as well as workforce readiness and other kinds of support, safety planning, to make sure that survivors can get and stay safe and ultimately thrive, which is really what we want.
Should somebody who is in this kind of circumstance reach out to a therapist or just talk to a friend? What kind of advice do you have for them?
Well, I would advise people that are going through the situation right now, or if you know somebody who you think may be going through it, to reach out to the National Domestic Violence Hotline. They can be reached at thehotline.org, and they're available 24/7, 365, and they have a slew of compassionate, caring advocates who can really provide folks with the guidance and support they need to determine what the best steps are for them.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people they get stuck in that rut and they just think, well, that's just the way it is. And it doesn't have to be, and it shouldn't be. It's just not a healthy way to have a relationship, right?
Right, absolutely. And there's always help and hope. And one of the primary strategies of those who inflict harm via domestic violence is to isolate those who they're harming. And so people do tend to really feel like they're the only one. No one else understands. There's a lot of shame surrounding it. So really being that compassionate listener and pointing someone in the direction of really trusted resources is one of the best things you can do.
Cherise, what's a website for people to get more information about your foundation?
Oh, you can reach out to the to allstatefoundation.org to find out more about the work that we're doing at the Allstate Foundation. And again, for the hotline, it's thehotline.org.
I love that. That's fantastic. Thanks for doing what you do. Cherise Kimbrough, Relationship Abuse Program Officer at the Allstate Foundation. It was great to have you on. Thanks for bringing a light to this, and we appreciate you. Come back anytime.
Thank you so much.
You bet. Have a great day. 8:28 right now, and when we come back, reducing your chances of contacting germs this cold and flu season. Our phone lines are open. We'll take calls at 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta says it's going to be a gorgeous, sunny fall day today. It's chilly. It's actually not bad at all. It's a first day of October, light breeze with beautiful sunshine, highs around 70 degrees. The full Garden State forecast in just a moment. You're watching ONNJ Mornings. We're seen daily at ONNJ.com, on Roku, Fire TV, News On, Samsung TV Plus, Apple TV, YouTube, Facebook, and X. And now we're streamed live on Substack, Rumble, and Twitch at twitch.tv/OnNJ. And we're also going to be on, is it called Local Now? I believe that's the next platform. That's coming up in a couple of weeks. We're not on there yet, but we're going to be there pretty soon. You're watching ONNJ Mornings. We're back in just a minute.
Hi, I'm Jeanette Hoffman, host of Energy Matters. Join me every night at 6 p.m. where we're discussing energy affordability, challenges, and solutions with stakeholders and elected officials. Join me weekdays at 6 p.m. on Energy Matters on ONNJ.
Good morning. It's Wednesday, October 1st, 2025. We have 55 double nickel degrees. It is beautiful out right now. I must admit, Pam, our director, has been praying for this day. And yes, Pam, you got it. Mother Nature and the Lord up above has given it to you. Beautiful sunny fall day, this first day of October, light breeze. Highs making it to about 70. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with the detailed Garden State forecast. Good morning, Mike. It's sort of a nice morning to just go outside and take a nice deep breath.
Yes, it is. You get that breath of fresh air, the dry, cool fall breezes, and with it, lots of sunshine too. Satellite picture not showing any clouds over New Jersey, maybe out toward LBI and down toward Atlantic City. But beyond that, all of the clouds today stay out to sea. So we're nice and dry with all that sunshine. We've warmed into the upper 60s. Very breezy at the shore today, a little bit of a less wind inland, but still, as it'll feel much cooler than days past. We're closing in on our average of 72 degrees. Into this afternoon, lots of sunshine expected, no storms, even with these two big tropical systems moving out to the east quickly as the high pressure kind of steers them out to sea, preventing any moisture from reaching New Jersey, even in the form of clouds. They stay out to sea as well. So temperatures today climb into the 60s. We're back in a cool period tomorrow morning, climbing into the 60s once more by the afternoon. And then by Friday, it starts to warm up. A little bit of a wind shift blows in from the south and west, warming us into the 70s, setting the stage for a beautifully warm weekend and clear too. As the high pressure sinks down from the north, it'll allow for lots of sunny weather, clear sky all around, and temperatures that warm into the 80s as soon as Sunday. It stays in the 80s for Monday and Tuesday of next week, with all that sunshine remaining. No chance of rain for the next 7 days. So the dry weather prevails as we're cool through Friday, warming into Saturday and Sunday, and staying warm even at the shore this weekend in the 70s for next week.
All right. Sounds like a plan, Stan, although your name isn't Stan, Mike, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much, sir. 8:32. We have 55 still in northern New Jersey. It's 55 in Trenton, 52 down in Cape May, and 54 at Vineland. 8:32 right now. And in terms of traffic, we have an overturned tractor trailer still on the New Jersey Turnpike northbound. It's north of Interchange 5 in Springfield. All lanes and the left shoulder are blocked. And look at the residual delay that we're getting as a result. We have disabled bus now on Route 46 reported eastbound west of Union Boulevard in Totowa. 2 right lanes of the 3 lanes are closed. We have another disabled bus, this time back over to the Turnpike Eastern Spur, northbound by Interchange 15 WI 280 in Kearney with the right shoulder blocked, and a down pole on Route 206 northbound as you get toward Philadelphia on 295 in Lawrence Township with all lanes closed. Water main break in East Rutherford on Route 120, Patterson Plank Road. And the approaches to the Hudson River, we have a gridlock alert week still in effect through Friday in Manhattan. And so you should avoid driving in if you can, take mass transit or work from home. If you do have to head in, avoid the Upper East Side as the UN General Assembly. The different ambassadors are still in town, even though the world leaders have gone home, thankfully, and safely, so I might add. But you still have a lot of traffic making your way over. Lincoln and Holland are 30 to 35. GWB upper and lower level very heavy. We have, it's a little lighter now in the lower level on the left. So we're told it's 35 on the lower, and it's about 35 to 40 on the upper on the right. It is 8:33 as we head into cold and flu season. Many of us are thinking about how to stay healthy, especially in high-touch public spaces. you know what we're talking about. We're talking about the elevator button. We're talking about the press to cross the street, anything that involves a lot of people touching buttons. And joining us today is Zeynep Z. Ekman. We're calling her Z for short, CEO and inventor of Silver Defender, a company that uses innovative technology to help reduce the spread of germs on high contact surfaces, like we mentioned, door handles and elevator buttons. Z, good morning to you.
Good morning, Ken. Thank you for having me.
Good to have you on. And where did you get the idea for Silver Defender?
So the idea came to me in 2018, and it was one of those light bulb moments. I was at a coffee shop, and a friend of mine was leaving the bathroom with paper towels in his hands. And he literally said, "These door handles are disgusting. Somebody should do something about them." And that's where the idea sparked. And it took about 2 years of research and development to have the film that we have now, but it was a light bulb moment for sure.
And so that's where you got the idea. How does the product work? Now, silver is naturally antimicrobial, right?
Correct, yes.
So how does it work? Is it a spray? Is it a film? You said something about a film. Tell us how that works.
So it's a stretchable adhesive film, and the science behind the product is very simple yet very effective. What we do is we take silver ions and we embed them in the middle layer of the film. And the film is ionized by 3 different factors. These factors are air pressure, light, and the salt from your hands. So there's always something keeping the film on. So once you adhere the film to a touch point, like a door handle, you are continuously touching a surface that's 99.9% clean all the time.
That's fascinating. That's brilliant. So unlike a quick sanitary wipe, the sanitary wipe works until till it dries, and the next guy who has a dirty hand touches the door, right? And then the germs are back on. But with Silver Defender, they could touch it 1,000,000 times a day, and it will kill any germs on the contact point, right?
Exactly. So we always say, in order to mimic what our film does on a surface, you literally have to have someone standing by a door handle and wiping it after every single person touches it. And our films do that continuously for up to a year. So you install it once, and it's always activated by one of the factors. So you are sure that you're touching a clean surface all the time, there's nothing like it out.
I was going to say, let me add to the ick factor, if I may. 2 things that I've seen in the last few months that I can't unsee, and I'm sure you've heard of every one of these stories. One was I was coming around a corner, staying at a temporary, until the place I'm in right now was available. I had to stay in a temporary housing situation, temporary apartment. And it was loaded with a bunch of professional athletes who are worth millions, so you would think they would know better. There was an NFL player whose name I shall not mention, standing at an elevator bank, digging his fist in his nose so deep I thought his elbow was going to disappear. And then right as I came around, I watched. He didn't see me. I saw him then go touch that button, and I nearly puked in my mouth. I thought it was the most disgusting thing in the world. And what you're saying is, in spite of all the little boogies coming out of his nose, that product, Silver Defender, will kill on contact the germs that may come from that fingertip after he came out of his nose, correct?
Correct. So it kills the external membrane of whatever it's coming in contact with. So it never lands on the film itself. So the film is continuously cleaning itself. So you can be sure that whatever he was digging is not going to land on the film.
So great. Well, then here I see we're a streaming show, so I could even get more unfamily friendly. There is video that circulated. You probably saw it. Circulated about 6 or 8 weeks ago of another sports play. I don't know what. Maybe it's they don't come from good parenting. I don't get it. But this guy on video standing outside of an elevator dug down the backside and then touched. He actually smeared. It was disgusting. I'm sorry to gross you out. But when you see that, you realize every time you touch a button, it's not just that somebody else touched it and whatever. Maybe they didn't wash their hands as well. I'm talking some people just do disgusting things and have absolutely no compunction to be cordial to other members of humanity. I don't know. Maybe that's not the way to put it, but it was gross. So thankfully, this product exists. Did it exist? Did you have it during COVID? Was it out there, or was it just still being produced?
So the film was invented in 2018, and it
Oh,
took us about 2 years of research and development. So we literally launched it at January 2020, right at the height of the pandemic. And as you can imagine, it was one of those products that was at the right place at the right time, which made us become a global brand overnight, which was a great thing for a startup. So we were there when the world needed us the most, for sure.
you served a big public interest. I mean, they needed it. Wasn't even just like, oh, she's hawking a product. They desperately needed your product. You probably helped slow down the spread of COVID enormously by having your product, which is phenomenal. Here's something that came to mind. I know the cost of silver fluctuates so much because it's in every cell phone is made up of, there's about $70 worth of silver in every single cell phone. How does the how does that impact your operating expense and how you pass on that expense to the consumer when the silver prices fluctuate so wildly?
So when we invented this product, we had a 10-year goal. We wanted to be like the next Purell, a globally recognized brand. So knowing that and believing in our mission, we actually bought a lot of silver when the prices were lower. So we have a lot of inventory where we can make millions of square feet of film without that price impacting our customers.
If you ever needed to cash it in, having bought it at the price you bought it, you it's like you had the best stock account in the world because I'm sure it's worth a fortune versus when you bought it. Good for you. That's great. How will this be important during the upcoming cold and flu season? If more and more businesses just use the product, how much do you think it'd help in cutting down the transmission of viruses?
So I think this is where our film benefits the most during cold and flu season because 80% of infectious diseases are spread through touch. A single door handle can contaminate an office building, 60% of an office building within just 4 hours. So if you think about it, when your colleagues are sick, the possibility of you getting that flu is very high. So our films will drastically reduce people getting sick, and which is one of the reasons why this film was invented, to reduce that cross contamination.
And of course, there's the ick factor, which we started talking about. Look, I've been in a jillion men's rooms in my life, and I cannot tell you, and I cannot grasp why, how many men, certainly the men who stand at the urinal, I think that there's nothing wrong with just flushing and walking out. They don't think there's anything inappropriate about not washing their hands. So many, I'm talking probably 1 in 3 think it's okay to do a number one and not wash your hands. And I have encountered, and I'm sure you have in ladies' rooms, many men walk out of the stalls and just walk out. Oh, how does anybody, like, what kind of home training was there? Didn't the kindergarten teacher say, Johnny, wash your hands? So at least with your product out there, the more that it is out there, the less likely we will have the transmission of disease from people who are just simply not trained well at home and don't take care of themselves in public.
So can I give you a funny fact about bathrooms? So we do a lot of ATP testing in different industries. We'll go to hospitals, airports, office buildings, and we'll test surfaces on how dirty they are. And I would say 9 out of 10 times the women's bathrooms are dirtier than the men's, which was surprising to me. So I hate to say it, but it turns out less women, I think, wash their hands than men because the numbers are there to prove it. So yeah, that was
Here's my
shocking to me for sure.
I'll give you a theory. I'll give you a theory why. And I could be totally wrong, but it just came to mind as you said it. A woman has to sit down no matter what she does. A guy does not. So there might be something to that, that even if you're just sitting down to do I'm sorry to get into very specifics, but the number one, you're still sitting in the same place that somebody could have sat at doing the number 2 seconds ago. And so maybe that's why you have a higher level of bacterial transmission. I don't know. I didn't do a study, but that's what comes to my mind right away. So now what is next for Silver Defender? Do you have any new developments or markets that you're looking at?
Right now, we're heavily focusing in healthcare and transportation. So we want to put this film into hospitals because that's where we think it's going to benefit the most. And also places like airports, trains, buses, where people are touching more surfaces on a daily basis than anywhere else. So that's our
Well,
focus.
that's phenomenal. Do you have any plans on taking the substance that you have, the film, and maybe creating other things with it, using the same principle, just to spread the idea and the technology further, so that it might even be a spray, or it might be whatever. I mean, just to expand the film, or is the film pretty much universal as it is?
So the film is pretty much universal. We don't want to get into the spray category because you have so many different sprays out there. We don't want to compete with anyone. We want to kind of stay in our lane with the films. But with the same technology, we do have other patent pending products that can help make the world a cleaner place in different forms. So yes, there is going to be other things that are coming out.
All right, you need to tell us your website so people can get more information and order your product, because I'm calling today.
Thank you so much. So you can just go to silverdefender.com.
Okay. And I listen, I'm a germaphobe. I like President Trump is a germaphobe. I know a lot of people are, right? You need to come on our shows on a regular basis, advertise with us, because I will make it worth your while. I'll have Silver Defender names everywhere. I won't even touch the panel behind me unless it's a Silver Defender. So we want to have you on this show, please. Listen, and for what it's worth, I'm gonna tout us. We're the fastest growing statewide TV newscast. I was with ABC News for 20 years. We didn't grow as fast over there as we're doing over here. So you need to come back, and we need to have you as part of the show. We would love to. The product, we honestly, and what a brilliant concept. The product is Silver Defender. Keep those germs away during the cold weather. Zingnap Z Ekman. We call her Z. That's our name for you, Z. CEO and inventor. Brilliant. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Please come back
Thanks so
again.
much for having me.
You bet. Have a great day. I love that. What a great idea. 8:45. And when we come back, it's one of Jersey City's most loved community events. It's happening this weekend. We're going to tell you all about the 11th annual Diversity Festival. Beautiful sunny day today. Highs only around 70. Perfect for October 1st. We're back in 30 seconds. You're watching ONNJ Mornings. Welcome back to ONNJ Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, 8:46 now, taking calls at 888-658-0234. A beautiful sunny fall day for the 1st of October. A light breeze, highs around 70, straight to medium with the Garden State forecast. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, good morning, Ken. You know, a lovely afternoon is in store. Nice, dry, cool fall breezes, and with it, loads of sunshine and low humidity. So it really will feel fantastic throughout this afternoon with that dry air blowing, and not a whole lot of heat to go along with it. So great weather to get outdoors and enjoy. The dry weather persists. This drought monitor will update tomorrow at this time, so we'll see where we stand. But I'm pretty sure we'll be a little bit redder in terms of how much of a rainfall deficit we've seen, especially with the 1 to 2 inch rainfall deficit, and probably go to a severe drought in some parts of northern New Jersey. The Atlantic Basin is quiet, even though there's an area of clustered thunderstorms down south and east of the Caribbean. Not expecting that to develop in the next 7 days, so that's good. And even with the dry weather here across New Jersey, warmer than average weather prevails over the next 2 weeks through the middle of October, even slightly higher rain chances in the southern part of the state. But again, that's not where the rain is necessarily needed. It's the northern half of the state that's been running dry. Our weather is rain-free for the next 7 days, warming back into the 80s by Saturday and Sunday. Excellent weather to be out to do some fall activities. I might be sweating on those hay rides this weekend with the 80-degree warmth under the blazing sun. And then Shore Point's beach weather, honestly. Low 70s at the beaches Saturday and Sunday with a lovely southwesterly breeze, climbing even warmer as we head further into the month of October, into the mid-70s. In about a week, we get another reality check with some rain and cool weather. But again, that's 8 days away, so we have some time to enjoy another little round of summer.
Another little round. I'll take another little round or 9. Okay. Thank you so much, Mike. Enjoy your day, sir. We appreciate it. It is 55 degrees right now, northern New Jersey and in Trenton, 54 in Vineland at 8:48. And traffic, we do have a lot of it. In fact, we have an issue on the New Jersey Turnpike now, overturned tractor trailer, northbound north of Interchange 5, which is Route 541 in Springfield. So this is causing a little delay there for folks actually in both directions through that little toll area, but it's the people people coming towards you who are driving toward that overturned vehicle. Just beware of that. Again, that is the New Jersey Turnpike, overturned tractor trailer, northbound north of Interchange 5, Route 541 in Springfield. All lanes and the left shoulder now blocked, and that's causing what you see on your screen. We have a disabled bus, Route 46 eastbound west of Union Boulevard in Totowa. 2 of the 3 lanes are now blocked. And a down pole on Route 206 northbound, which is 295 in Lawrence as you make your way down toward Philadelphia. All lanes closed there. Another issue on the Jersey Turnpike, it's a disabled bus on the eastern spur northbound by interchange 15W I-280 in Kearney with the right shoulder blocked. Still have a gridlock alert week in effect in Manhattan. It's causing a lot of issues, especially on the Upper East Side. If you could work from home or take mass transit, do so. Please certainly avoid the Upper East Side, even walking, not just driving, because police have to close off intersections as dignitaries drive by. So you could be stopped at the corner and not allowed to cross for 5 or 10 minutes. It's an ugly time for New Yorkers during the welcoming of our United Nations brethren from all over the world. Just keep that in mind. Let's take a look at the GWB crossing. Upper and lower levels rather slow. We're told 35 to 40 minutes now. Either way, you see on the right side is upper, left side is lower, and your crossings at the Lincoln and Holland still about 30 to 35 minutes. 8:50 now, and Mamta Singh is the executive director of JC Families and is here to talk about one of Jersey City's most loved community events, the 11th Annual Cultural Diversity Festival. It's happening this Saturday, Hamilton Park, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And this year's festival will be held alongside the Harvest Festival with cultural performances from across Jersey City's many vibrant communities. Hello, Mamta. Good to have you on.
Hey Ken, good morning and good morning again. This is my second time in almost a month.
We had such a good time with you last time. It's nice to have you back on. We briefly touched on this the last time, but this is a very cool event. Jersey City's so multicultural, and I love that you have everybody come together in the city and celebrate the one thing that unifies all of them. They're Jersey City residents. So, and this is the 11th year. How has the event grown since it started?
Sure. So, Jersey City is one of the most diverse cities in America. So we started thinking about how do we celebrate it because there are a lot of different cultures doing events like African Day Parade and Irish Parade, Puerto Rican Parade, Indian Parade. And we thought we want to combine it because JC Families is all about families. We have around 78, we are connecting through 70 to 80,000 families through our Jersey City, Hoboken, Secaucus, Union City, and other areas. Then we thought we should celebrate all the cultures all together under one roof. That's when this idea came, and it's this year it will be 11th annual Culture Diversity Festival. And believe it or not, it just started with simple concept like we want our kids to learn about all the cultures, not just our culture but all the cultures representing different countries. um, and you know the interest was great. A lot of performers like Chinese dancers with lion dancing, and then Japanese, Indian, and then here we are celebrating 11th year. And you know the idea was that our kids should learn about the different cultures, also celebrate diversity. And we are so proud of it, the response we have been getting. We get sometimes really big sponsors like Toyota was there and AT&T. So you know it's growing significantly, and we are really proud of our event.
Well, I mean, speaking Indian alone, you're talking about nearly 20% of the population of the planet lives in one country, which is just unbelievable how huge that is. And by the way, my favorite food on the planet. But you know, it is. I literally just had samosas for dinner last night upstairs. I make them myself, by the way. Someday I will have you
You're not
over and
kidding. If
you
you
will.
said samosa, right? You're not kidding.
I do just the potato and pea. I like a non-meat, just a vegetarian type samosa, but I fry them and I love to fry them, not bake them. And all right, we'll talk food another time. So you know I'm not lying when I get into that detail. But it's you know it's such an amazing just the country of India alone. People think it's a monolith. There are so many just diverse cultures within that country, and
Yes.
they're represented here. And then you have, as you mentioned, you have a Chinese community there, and you have a lot of Italians still in Jersey City. And you have, I mean, it's such a beautiful place that it's awesome. You bring them all together to celebrate the differences and the similarities. And again, they're all united as Jersey folks now, all living in a great city like Jersey City. And it's not New York, it's New Jersey. I love that.
It's Jersey City. It's Jersey City. And as you said, yeah, there are Filipino communities. There are
Huh?
so many amazing community. And that is a beautiful thing. And look at our kids, the exposure they are getting without even going around the world. They're learning so much about other cultures. So it is absolutely, truly a blessing for all of us. And we are proud of it. We're really proud of it. And about the food, yes, we will have just very few food vendors. We'll have Mexican food. We'll have Taste of Poland again. And the event is from 10 to 2, Ken, and it is at Hamilton Park, Jersey City. That is a beautiful, beloved park because it's a community park. We have a lot of families living around Hamilton Park. So that's where we will be doing this event. And we
And,
will be celebrating harvest with the
right.
Cultural Diversity Festival.
And
Sorry.
we're going to talk about that. So let's talk about the Harvest Festival. What was the concept behind combining it with the Harvest Festival? Was it like we're going to be two huge festivals, why compete? We'll just put it all together?
So we were doing earlier Cultural Diversity Festival used to be, I think, around July or August. But then we thought we want to combine it with the Harvest Festival because then we have hay, we have giant pumpkins, and this is the weather is perfect. People are in a good mood because now they're saying bye bye to summer and enjoying the perfect weather now. So that's when we thought, okay, these are two popular events among families, and how do we make sure that people who just want to celebrate harvest and cultural diversity, so we combine it together. And since then it has been blown so much. Everybody is loving the concept that yes, we are celebrating cultural diversity, but activities for harvest like pumpkin painting will be there, the photo corner with hay and a giant pumpkin. So combining is always good, and we love doing two events together. Why not, right?
Sure. Well, I mean, listen, and honestly, you could say based on that combination, there will be no event on the planet Earth like that because you have not only multiple cultures in a big city outside of New York City that is part of New Jersey, but you are also combining the different traditions. You're combining harvest with different cultures. I don't think there's a place on the planet that's going to be doing this. So this is as unique as it gets. I love it. I love it. Let's have some
Exclusive,
samosas made
exclusive.
with pumpkin. Let's see. Let's do that. Let's try that
Yes,
one.
so, we used to have the Indian food for sure because, as you know, people really like Indian food. Unfortunately, not this time. But in future, the way we are growing, we will definitely focus a lot more on Indian food and not just samosa. Indian food has so much variety, and as you said, India has so many different region. Every region has different food, different culture, different language, different even the way they dress up. So that's the beautiful. And listen, this is the diversity. Every country offers some sort of diversity. We are proud of our country, America, where there is so much diversity and we are still living together happily. And same my city, it's happy and celebrated as the most diverse or one of the most diverse cities in America.
No question. In fact, I've seen now in the market they have Sukis, which I'm sure you've seen the brand. It's like one of the big Indian food brands. And they now have a lot of traditional Indian foods wrapped up in a wrap so that you could try like chicken tikka masala, whatever, but it's in a wrap. So you could have it like street food. So I could see
Yeah.
that working at an event like this because people could walk around and be eating Indian food in a wrap. I mean, that's perfect for that situation.
Yes, that has been really popular. It is called kati roll or chicken roll or egg roll, vegetarian roll, and that is really popular because it's easy to eat. You can just walk and eat it. So of course they are creating even variety in Indian food. Why not?
I love it. Hey, we're out of time, so please, Mamta, give us the web address so that people can get more information.
Sure. And thank you, Ken, again. The website is jcfamilies.com. Our Instagram is jcfamilies. Facebook is just jcfamilies. One word, JC as in Jersey City, families, JC families with no space. So one word, JC families. And Ken, I really appreciate your time. And as I said now, you like me because you're calling me again. So I'm hoping we'll connect again soon.
We will, and we're out of time, so we got to go. But Mamta, thank you. It's the 11th annual Cultural Diversity Festival this Saturday, Hamilton Park, 10 to 2. Mamta Singh, have a wonderful day. Thanks for joining us. And have a wonderful day, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 7.
Thank you. Thank you.